Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Vedic astrology coach, Rahat Kapoor, and welcome to my channel, The Legit Astrologer. In my channel, I make videos on Vedic astrology. I talk about transits. This is the series in my monthly transit updates, and I'm going to talk about the month of March and how it is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs or the moon signs based on most important planetary updates. It is a very intense month and major shifts that are expected in the month of March. There are some very complex transits as well. Towards the end of the month, a number of planets are going to come in the sign of Pisces, and we'll see a great conjunction of Venus, Mercury, Sun, Moon, Saturn, and Rahu. Thankfully, Jupiter is not involved in this transit. But the month begins with the most complex transit, which is the transit of Venus, that is exalted and retrograde. It will be conjoined Mercury, that is debilitated in the sign of Pisces, and Rahu. Mercury is also going to go retrograde later in this month. Now, before I move to the ascendants, a very important message with regards to the complex conjunction of an exalted and retrograde Venus, a debilitated Mercury, and Rahu in the sign of Pisces that will be predominantly there throughout the month of March. Venus exalted in Pisces typically brings deep emotional connections. It is an indication of spiritual love, heightened artistic, and very creative expressions. It makes us very much creative. It makes us very much devotional as well. However, when it is retrograde, when it is Vakri, all these energies they turn inward. See, the planet does acquire Cheshta Bala, but this Venus acts as if it is debilitated, and Venus will soon go retrograde in the sign of Pisces, and I'm going to make a specific video on this motion. But this leads to energies turning inward, which is a time for us to reflect on relationships. Our self worth is generally on question, and it is a lot to do with past love experiences because Venus, when goes retrograde, brings a lot of karma with regards to past love experiences and our interaction with the world. When it is conjoined with Rahu, these desires amplify because Rahu amplifies everything that it comes in contact with, and this often leads to illusion in love, unconventional attractions, or obsessive tendencies in relationships. So one has to be very careful of obsessive relationship, both in terms of you being at the receiving end and at the giving end as well. You have to take greater control here because Rahu really distorts Venus's natural harmony, pushing people towards indulgence, unrealistic fantasies, and some very strong karmic lessons in partnerships. So one has to be very careful in the month of March. This is my message. And these two planets are going to be conjoined with a debilitated Mercury that further weakens rational thinking and communication. Though Mercury is not very bad in the sign of Pisces because it does hold a certain sense of maturity and it is under the influence of Venus and Rahu. But this could lead to confusion, misinterpretation. Strong emotional led decision making is something which we could expect, and this is where we have to be utmost cautious. And when this is combined with a Venus Rahu influence, it could result in deception in communication, relationships, financial misjudgments as well, and overall imagination that is really detached from reality. So one has to be very mindful and careful of our logical thinking. So we have to take into account the logic and accordingly move forward with regards to our judgment and decision making. This whole combination of Venus, Mercury, and Rahu, where Venus is exalted and it is going to go retrograde, Mercury is debilitated, and they're conjoined with Rahu. It suggests an intense but potentially confusing emotional experience. We're going to witness karmic relationships, and there is a greater sense of need for clarity in love interest, finances, your communication, your relationship. So you need to clear a lot of things out. Spiritually, it is an excellent time because this will help you navigate through some of these challenging energies. So please make use of it. I'd like to give you two tips before I move forward. If you're facing workplace related issues, then you must chant a Vishnu mantra during this time for the next couple of months around midday. 12 noon, around this time is the time when sun is in the 10th house of the zodiac belt. So this is the time when you should chant any Vishnu mantra. It could be Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya to reduce any ill effects of work. If you're suffering from any relationship issues, then evening around sunset, when sun is in the seventh house, you must chant a Vishnu mantra. It could be Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Om Vishnave Nama. This is something which you can do to reduce any ill effects if you're facing job related problems or if you're facing the relationship issues. This is a simple tip for you and I hope it helps you. Now let's talk about the month of March and all ascendant and the moon signs. I'm going to share my screen. I have a nice presentation for you. And I'm going to keep the concept very simple, give you some tips, certain remedies, and what you could expect in the month of March. So let's begin with our presentation and Aries ascendants and what we can expect in the month of March. I'm going to talk about key important planetary updates, the transits that matter for you. Let's begin with the transit of your Lagna Lord, Lord of the Ascendant Mars, that recently began its direct motion in the sign of Gemini. So this Mars is continue to make a transit in your third house. This is your Lagna Lord, Lord of yourself, your overall body, vitality, immunity, and also your eighth Lord, making a transit in your third house of effort. So one thing is quite certain that any efforts that you put, you're likely to achieve results because there is firepower in your third house. Mars is also the significator or the karaka for the third house. So change is going to be acting in a positive way and any efforts that you put is likely to see some results from a transformation point of view as well. If you accept this change, it will be better for you. If you stay resistant towards the change, then situation could be challenging for you. So this is something which you must understand and take it forward around this time. Your 3-9 axis is pretty active, so this could result in journeys. Foreign travel could be on the cards as well because you're going to have a number of planets in your 12th house. So if you go on a spiritual retreat, spiritual journey, any dharmic journey, or any spiritual place of worship, this could be quite excellent for you. Your 12th house is going to have a very complex conjunction later in the month, towards the end of the month. I'm going to make a specific video on that, but it has a Venus which is exalted and it is soon going to go retrograde. Mercury has joined the 12th house, which is your third lord and the sixth lord, and you already have a Mars that is making a transit there. Sun is also going to come in contact towards the second half of the month, and Sun is your fifth lord, which is again an important planet. So this could create a sense of indulgence. So you have to watch your expenditure, you have to watch your indulgence, and you have to take some important decisions pertaining to a relationship. Thankfully, your Lagna, your ascendant, is under a Shubha Yoga throughout the month of March because on one side, if you see here, there is Jupiter. On the other side, there are two benefics, Venus and also Mercury. And both of them are causing a Shubha Yoga on your ascendant. So your decision making would be quite positive. And this is something which you have to channelize and, of course, make the most of it as far as the month of March is concerned. So this is a positive sign for you. If I talk about your ninth lord Jupiter that is making a transit in the second house, it is continues to form a Dhan Yoga or a wealth yoga. So in case circumstances or situation for you indicates that you were to have an incentive or a rise in your income or any kind of increment, this could be a particularly favorable time, considering your fifth lord sun is also in the for the first half in your 11th house along with Saturn, who is the 11th lord. The first half of the month is pretty good from a financial point of view, but you would need a lot of financial management in the month of March because you have to control your expenditure. So make sure that you save a lot of money, you save a lot of finances. First half of the month, I would encourage you to chant Aditya Hridaya Stotam because Sun is making a connection with your fifth house and Sun is your fifth lord. So this will help you sail through any of these difficult times. Second half of the month, when Sun goes in your 12th house, which is here, so Sun attains Maran Karaka position in the 12th house. So second half, from a resources point of view, could be challenging for you because this is where Sun is losing significance. So you could have issues with regards to authority, with your bosses, with the government, with paperwork. If you have important decisions to take, first half of the month is quite conducive before 14th of March. After that, it could be a little bit challenging for you. And this is where you have to step up and, of course, step into the situation and take full control of the situation. Use remedies related to sun, offer arga water to Surya first thing in the morning, and stay consistent about your routine. Rise up early and make sure that the first 1 hour that you have you spend a lot of time in increasing your mindfulness, which will help you become more self-aware. And if you're self-aware, you will stay away from bad habits, you will stay away from any kind of indulgences, and you will have greater sense of control over your decision making. And this is a very important tip that I'd like to give you. And may you have a prosperous month of March. Now let us talk about Taurus Ascendant and what's happening in the month of March 2025 for Taurus Ascendants. I'm going to talk about some very important planetary updates and what you could expect as far as the month of March is concerned. So let's begin with your ninth lord and 10th lord Saturn, that is making the last leg of transit in your 10th house. Towards the end of the month, Saturn is going to make change and it is going to enter your 11th house. You will have a great conjunction of six planets in your 11th house, which is going to be complex, but it's going to be very good from a material sense. This is your last opportunity to make the best use of Bhagya as far as work is concerned and make some important decisions. See, Saturn is at the highest degree. That means it is the Atma Karaka for the next few days. So, this is a time when you have to ensure that you bring in a sense of discipline in your karmas, in your duties. So, this shift, this change is going to trigger some workplace related change, which could occur over the next 2 to 3 months. But at this time, you have to ensure that you stay disciplined with regards to your duties, with regards to your responsibility, and stay away from any kind of conflicting situation or any kind of office politics. Just keep doing your job, just keep doing your duty. This is a good message for you because you must understand that Jupiter is making a transit in your ascendant, which is bringing a sense of judgment. Though Jupiter is your eighth lord and it is the 11th lord, but it is definitely bringing a sense of wisdom in your ascendant. Well, you have to be careful of your weight for the next 2 3 months. While Jupiter is staying in your ascendant, it is currently making a transit in Rohini Nakshatra, which is ruled by Moon. So, this is where you have to be careful of any indulgence. Stay and have a balanced diet, have a balanced routine. This is also the message that Mars gives you in your second house because second house is your consumption, what you eat. So, there's a lot of firepower. So, you would want to have spicy food, you would want to have some sweets, some desserts, but make sure that you take care of your health because Jupiter sits in the ascendant, it expands our body. Make sure that you exercise, you eat right, and have a very healthy routine. Most importantly, let us talk about your ascendant lord, that is Venus. So, Venus is going exalted in your 11th house and it is going to go retrograde in the beginning of March. So, firstly, it is looking back at your 10th house. So, it wants you to focus on work related decisions and fix some of your actions pertaining to your relationship with other people at workplace. So, there's a heavy karma that you have. You will be able to overcome enemies because Mercury and Venus are there in the 11th house, Rahu is there in the 11th house, which is your 10th lord. All of these three planets are, of course, connected to your ascendant lord. So, yes, there is a greater chance for you to overcome any opposition or any enemies around this time. So, you will not hold any enmity. Venus has a very strong aspect on your fifth house. So, any mantras that you use over the next couple of months is going to be very helpful for you, extremely helpful. Since you have a Ketu here, you must use a simple Ganpati mantra, Ganesha mantra, followed by Lakshmi mantra. So, it could be simple as Om Ganpate Nama, followed by Om Lakshmi Nama. Or you could go into specific mantras related to 12 forms of Ganesha. Select a mantra based on Virgo. And this is something which you can do. So just make sure that you do some sort of Ganesha sadhana around this time. So you will have less of obstacles. Mercury, which is your fifth lord, is going to make a debilitated transit in your 11th house. So Mercury is also a Karaka Graha for you because it's the second lord and the fifth lord. So it is giving you a Dhan Yoga. It is giving you a wealth yoga. First half of the month, your decision making would be good. You would be very much spiritual, and thankfully, you are protected from any losses in the month of March. So you could avert major losses or major expenditure because your 12th house is under Shubh Yoga. There's Jupiter on one side, there is Venus and Mercury on the other side. So 12th house in Shubh Yoga. So excellent for spirituality and of course control your expenditure, and it will help you not get involved in any kind of indulgences. So any mantras that you use are definitely going to help because your 511 axis is pretty active, and this is what you need to focus on as far as the month of March is concerned. So Mercury will create favorable circumstances of rise of income and of course giving you a sense of judgment. Second half of the month, your decision making could be a little bit challenging, and this is a time when you have to be careful of other people. So you might reconcile with your past connections, past relationships, or some of the old friends. You might bury the hatchet and of course come in contact with some of those people. And I wish you the very best for the month of March. Let us now talk about Gemini ascendants and what's happening with Gemini ascendants as far as the month of March is concerned, which is an intense month because it has some very intense conjunction towards the end of the month. There will be six planets coming together in the sign of Pisces. So it's quite an intense month as far as March is concerned. But throughout the month, predominantly Mercury, Venus, and Rahu are going to be conjoined in the sign of Pisces. So it involves your Lagna Lord, it involves your fifth Lord, and the ninth Lord. So all the trines, Rahu is your co-ninth Lord, and Saturn's also going to enter your 10th house. So all the trinal lords are involved in your 10th house. So major decisions related to work are inevitable over the next couple of months for Gemini ascendants, depending on your ongoing dasha antardasha. Mars continues to make a direct transit in your ascendant, which is giving you energy, firepower, but it is bringing in some strong opposition as well. So you have to be careful of other people. Stay low key, channelize these energies to help you work out, exercise, and of course, use the benefit. Stay hydrated, drink 2-3 liters of water. Of course, whatever quantity you feel is appropriate, depending on your daily routine and your exercise regime. You must stay hydrated all the time. Mercury, which is the lord of your ascendant and the fourth house, is going to be making a transit in your 10th house. Though Mercury is debilitated, it is a fallen state in the 10th house. However, this Mercury is forming a yoga. It is helping you make some good, fruitful decisions related to your workplace. Situation is going to improve, but this is a complex time. You have to maybe face some authority issues, you have to face some relationship issues. There are karmic times. Second half of the month, this Mercury goes retrograde. So when Mercury goes debilitated and retrograde, it will act as if it's an exalted Mercury. And this is where it will put a strong focus on your fourth house. So second half of the month, you will focus a lot on your mindfulness, on your balance, on your comfort. You might take a break, you might go on a vacation, you might take leave, you might take some time off, which will be very good for you because you would want to relax. Okay. Venus continues to make a conjunction with Mercury and Rahu. This Venus is going to be exalted and it's going to be retrograde, which Venus will act as if it's debilitated, and it will also have a very strong drishti on your fourth house. So depending on your dasha antardasha, of course, first half you will strike a challenge in terms of managing your personal life and your work life. Second half you'll be very clear of your priorities. Okay, so this is something which you must understand. See, first half and of course throughout the month, there's a sign of authority issues because you have Saturn and Sun that are making a conjunction in your ninth house. Saturn is your ninth lord, Sun is your third lord. So this could create friction with bosses, with people with authority. So try and stay low key. Let this time pass. You will see a change, in the behavior. Sun is going to move in your 10th house in the second half of the month on 14th of March. This is where Sun gains directional strength or is Digbali. So any efforts that you put in the second half of the month are eventually good for you. This could create a room of gains over the next couple of months because your 11th house is under Shubh Yoga and your 11th Lord is making a transit in the ascendant. So there are multiple Dhan Yogas, wealth yogas related to work which are there. Considering you put efforts and you wait, you stay patient, do not lose your temper because this time period could bring in a sense of ego or you could get into a verbal argument with people. So this is because of the Martian energy. So stay low key, stay humble, be as soft as you can, have plenty of patience, perseverance, and you need resilience at the same time. Saturn's also going to come in your 10th house in the sign of Pisces. That is going to happen later in the month. I'm going to make a specific video, of course, on that. Jupiter continues to make a transit in your 12th house where it is expanding matters related to 12th house and of course increasing spirituality. So this is the last leg of transit of Jupiter. One final opportunity for you. Of course, when it comes in your ascendant later, it will give you a lot of wisdom, it will give you a lot of knowledge, it will help you make some very good decisions. But this time around, it is good from a spiritual point of view because if you practice spirituality, your workplace decisions could be eventually benefited. I would strongly encourage you to chant a Vishnu mantra during midday in case you were to reduce any ill effects or improve your workplace, job, or business related situation. Chant a simple mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya around midday, which is 12:30 p.m. This is when Sun naturally is in the 10th house. So it is in its great space. It is Digbali around this time, and this is something which will help you make some very good decisions pertaining to your workplace. And I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Cancer ascendants and what's happening with Cancer ascendants as far as the month of March is concerned. So I'm going to talk about important planetary transits and give you a sense of insight in terms of what you could expect and how to sail through some of these transits. Let us begin with the most important planet for you, that is Mars or Mangal, who seems to be your fifth lord and the 10th lord. So Mangal rules two important houses for you. Two houses of kingdom or the Rajya Bhavas. Fifth house of mantras, your future, progress, and 10th house of karmas or your actions in the society. Your fifth lord and the 10th lord has moved to the 12th house of expenditure, Vyaya. So you are going to spend a lot of time in future planning. Sometimes you will feel that your efforts are not giving you results. So avoid any kind of pessimistic outlook or approach. This is a testing time for you. From a spiritual point of view, it is very good. So a simple remedy for you to improve your workplace situation or associations or of course progress is to practice yoga, sadhana, meditation. Mars is firepower, pure energy. So if you put your energy in any spiritual practices, your work related situation is likely to improve in a much greater way. So this is something which you must understand. You must remember that thankfully your 10th house over the next few weeks is under Shubh Yoga, which means that your work is protected. There is Jupiter on one side in your 11th house, there's Mercury on Venus and Venus conjoined in your ninth house. So your 10th house is absolutely protected. So you could expect some good news, some progress related to workplace in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. Or you must look up to Jupiter or Mars from a remedial point of view if you were to improve your work related situation or any similar association. Your second lord, Sun, is conjoined Saturn in the 8th house. Saturn is going to move in the sign of Pisces towards the end of the month, but this is the last leg of Saturn's transit in the sign of Aquarius. So, of course, this is bringing challenging times in terms of transformation. It might have brought in some authority issues. It might have created some minor conflict with people. So, first half of the month, you have to be a little bit careful. 14th of March, Sun is going to enter your ninth house where it is forming a Dhan Yoga and it is conjoined your 11th Lord Venus. So it is giving you Dhan Yoga, it is giving you Wealth Yoga in case you're expecting increment, in case you're expecting a rise in your income. This is a favorable time. Second half of the month, you could expect your finances to move. However, this Venus is retrograde, so it leads to inward energies. You might make some important decisions pertaining to your savings, pertaining to your finances. So this is something which you must keep in mind. See, these grahas are under the influence of Rahu, but thankfully Venus has a greater say because it's in its exaltation sign. You have to take very calculative and careful steps when it comes to financial matters. You have to protect your money, you have to protect your finances, okay? Because there will still be a sense of uncertainty there. So if in case you can avoid major decisions that are connected to your savings and investment, you can do that. Otherwise, it's important. If it's important for you, then go ahead. Mercury has also joined Venus and Rahu in your ninth house. Mercury is your third lord and the 12th lord. So you are expected to have any support of people from other cultures. So in case you work with multinational in a multinational environment or with foreigners, you could get some support. In case you wish to travel or settle outside of your home country, this could be a potentially favorable time in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. This is something which you must watch. Jupiter, who is your ninth lord and your sixth lord. So Jupiter is a Bhagyesh for you, is making a transit in your 11th house. And Jupiter and Venus are involved in a parivartana or an exchange. So this Jupiter is going to behave as if it's Venus sitting in your 11th house and expanding the matters related to your 11th house. Venus's interaction, Venus's abundance. So this is of course giving you a wealth yoga over the next few weeks. Your decision making is going to be good. So use a sense of wisdom, learn something related to your workplace because your workplace is being protected. So anything that you will learn, anything that you will pick up, any project that you start, you're likely to have sustenance with regards to that project. Any mantra that you use should be related to Jupiter. So use a simple Shiva mantra, that is Om Namo Bhagavate Sada Shivaya, and you will be protected this time. And I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Leo Ascendant and what's happening with Leo Ascendants as far as the month of March is concerned. I'm going to talk about most important planetary transits, what you could expect from an energy point of view, and what are some of the shifts that are happening and what could be certain remedies for you. Let us begin with the Lord of the Ascendant, your Lagna Lord, that is Sun. Surya for the first half is making a transit in your seventh house along with your seventh lord Saturn. So Saturn gains directional strength in the seventh house. This is one last opportunity for you to strengthen your relationship and strengthen your association with other people and continue to build this discipline in your life that Saturn has brought in when it comes to particularly dealing with other people. Sun is generally weak in the seventh house because this is the western direction. However, Sun is your Lagna Lord. It is making a connection with your ascendant. It is aspecting your ascendant. It is bringing a lot of tej in your ascendant, in your personality. You must continue to stay hydrated. Okay, because Ketu is also in your second house, and Ketu is also fire. It's a fiery graha. Okay, it's a graha that is burning, so you need water. You need enough hydration. You need liquids. So consume that in the normal quantity that you can. Okay, Sun is going to move in your eighth house. Okay, so this is where it will happen on 14th of March. So this is a transformational time for you because you're going to have a complex conjunction in your eighth house. Sun will be joined by Venus, that is exalted retrograde. Mercury will also start its retrograde motion on 15th of March, around mid of March, and they are also conjoined Rahu. So transformation is inevitable over the next couple of months, but this is forming a few yogas for you. So Mercury is getting Nicha Bhanga, Venus is getting Ucha Bhanga, which is cancellation of its exaltation. So Venus will behave as if it's debilitated. Mercury will behave as if it's exalted. So it is going to support communication. It is going to support wealth. It is going to support sudden wealth opportunities. It is going to support transformation, any research related work. So it is time for you to put your mind into research related subjects. Study, if you were to study occult, Jyotish, or similar sciences, this is an excellent time for you. There will be a sense of uncertainty. You might be at your lowest of times, but eventually you will rise because this time period is also going to be giving you a Viparita Yoga because your 12th Lord Moon will also join these planets. Your 6th Lord Saturn will also join these planets. So circumstances will go adverse. Eventually you will rise. You are getting transformed for good. Thankfully, the most important aspects for you, in spite of a challenging month, is that your ninth house is protected. Your ninth house is under a Shubh Yoga because there's Mercury, Venus on one side, there is Jupiter on the other side, and this is absolutely protected. So your Bhagya, you're fortunate. Use mantras related to Surya or related to Jupiter if you were to sail through any difficult times. A simple mantra that is Om Guruve Nama or offer water or argue to Surya first thing in the morning by using a simple mantra Om Grini Surya Aditya. You will be blessed. The Bij mantra for you is a simple bija which is Om. So this is something which you can chant in your daily meditation, in your daily prayers, or a simple mantra that is Nama Shivaya. Look up to him and you will be protected. Jupiter, who's your fifth lord, continues to make a transit in your 10th house. It is involved in a parivartan with Venus. So, workplace related change is inevitable over the next couple of months. This time period could make you change your jobs, shift from one place to the other. This is also pretty much on the cards in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. This could be a good job. This could be a high paying job. So you could expect an eventual increase in your income over the next few weeks because Mars, who's your ninth lord, is also making a transit in the 11th house in a direct motion. So Jupiter is there, Mars is there, so your 9th, 10th house and the 11th house are pretty strong and are pretty much protective. So in spite of some of these complex energies in your 8th house, you have to look up to these grahas, you have to stay calm, and of course, wait for the opportunity, embrace any transformation, any difficulty that you come, any sudden changes also which you could expect, but embrace these things and take control of the situation and look up to Jupiter, Mars, and Sun to sail through these times. And I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Virgo ascendant. What's happening with Virgo ascendants as far as the month of March is concerned, what you would expect, some key planetary shifts, movements, what are some of the remedies for you, and what you could expect in this wonderful month that is full of intense energies and some very intense and complex conjunctions that we are going to witness. Let's begin with your Lagna Lord, Lord of the Ascendant, that is Mercury. Mercury has entered the sign of Pisces in your 7th house, which is its debilitation sign. So, first half of the month, Mercury will go direct in the sign of Pisces. Second half of the month, Mercury is going to go retrograde or it will turn Vakri. This is the time when Mercury will behave as if it's in a Ucha state, it's in an exalted state, it's in a better state from a dignity point of view, and it will have a very strong aspect on your ascendant. So this Mercury will act as if it's the Mercury in the sign of Virgo. You also have Venus conjoined Mercury, and Venus is your ninth lord and your second lord. So it's a Bhagyesha, so it plays a very important role in your finances. Venus is exalted and retrograde. So this Venus is acting as if it's a Venus in the sign of Virgo, which means debilitated. However, Venus is the Karaka for the 7th house, natural significator. So from that point, it is a good positive transit. So there are heavy energies, heavy aspect on your ascendant. They have very high desires when they go retrograde. So it wants to bring changes. If you are in a state of isolation, if you are more of an introverted nature, you would like to come out in the open, you would like to interact with people, there is definitely relationship karma. So in the first part of the video, I mentioned certain intense relationship karma. You have to stay away from indulgence. You have to stay away from obsession of any kinds, be it at the receiving end or the giving end, because this could bring in unrealistic expectations in relationship. You have to reach out to your partner, connect with your partner, because there is Rahu also gains directional strength in the 7th house. It is not bad in the 7th house. Later, they will be conjoined Sun in the second half of the month. Sun is considered to be weak in the 7th house because it's the western direction where the Sun sets. So it expects you to bring in a sense of loyalty, interaction, communication, and logic in your relationship. So this is how you need to read it. Avoid any kind of overindulgence. Make the most use of these transit energies to ensure that you evolve your personality and you build your personality. See, throughout the month of March, you need protection. Okay, a sense of protection because you have Ketu here, you have Mars here, and then you have Rahu and also Sun. So this is causing a Sarpa Yoga, and it's like a coil, so it is restricting you for a number of things. So you need to use protective mantras. Okay, so a Vishnu Kavach mantra is good, Narayan Kavach, right? Or any Vishnu mantra would be very good for you from a protection point of view. You could chant a very simple mantra such as Om Vishnave Nama, or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or Om Namo Narayana. Whichever mantra you closely connect with for your own protection, it is going to be very important for you. Jupiter thankfully makes a transit in your 9th house. It is the significator. It is not the most ideal graha for you because it also becomes your Badikesh. So if you worship Ganpati, it will help you reduce these effects of Badak. Jupiter and Venus are involved in Parivartana. So this is a big plus for you because this is where one Kendra and one triangle house is involved, and you're going to build a sense of higher learning or higher education. If you have similar pursuits, you could go for it. Your 8th house is under Shubh Yoga by the blessings of Jupiter and Venus and Mercury on the other side. So this is a big plus, which will help you save from any unsolicited change or any sudden change or sudden decision. So you will feel less of obstructions in the month of March compared to the previous months. You would like to come out in the open. Mars is making a transit in your 10th house where it gains directional strength. So there are, of course, blessings of Lord Hanuman, and he is who you need to look up to if you were to solve or resolve any workplace related matters. Bring in a lot of energy at your workplace. Consciously, you need to sound as if you are absolutely energetic at your workplace. And remember, Saturn is making a last transit. Your fifth and sixth lord is making the last final transit in your sixth house in the sign of Aquarius. Last opportunity for you to fix your daily routine. Do a lot of de-cleansing. Cut off, finish any of those bad habits, any of those things that you wish to change before Saturn moves in your seventh house, because this is a time when Saturn is going to force you to change, to bring in a sense of discipline over the next couple of years, and that could be difficult for you. So take the corrective action right now and take things in your hands, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Libra Ascendant and what's happening with Libra Ascendants as far as the month of March is here. I'm going to talk about most important planetary updates, transits, and some complex conjunctions that are happening in the month of March. Very intense conjunction, and what you could expect. What are some of the remedies that you could have? Let's begin with your Lagna Lord, Lord of the Ascendant, that is Venus. And Venus has been making a transit in your sixth house, Pisces, in an exalted state. This Venus is going to go retrograde or Vakri. This is the time when Venus will act as if it's debilitated. However, this Venus will have a very strong aspect on your 12th house where there is a Ketu, which is helping in spiritual goals, spiritual pursuits, path towards moksha. But Venus will act as if it's in the sign of Virgo. Mercury, who is your ninth lord, and your 12th lord, will has already joined Venus and Rahu in your sixth house. Mercury is considered good in the sixth house. It is getting Nicha Bhanga. Later, second half of the month, it is going to go retrograde. So the second half of the month would be particularly difficult when it comes to relationship matters. So there is heavy relationship karma in the month of March. However, first half of the month is very good for building your self-awareness. So because this is a time where it will bestow you with a lot of intelligence. So learn something new, upskill yourself, and try to fix your daily routine. Bring in a sense of interaction, communication, harmony, and logic in your daily life. Okay, in case you wish to take some loans around this time for any repayment or probably repayment of your debts or loan related to real estate, it could be a potentially favorable time for you in case your dasha antardasha is supportive. Those people, Libra ascendants, who are in a relationship, so you're quite fortunate in the month of March because your relationship, your spouse is being protected because your seventh house is under Shubh Yoga, okay, an auspicious yoga, because there's Jupiter on one side, there is Venus and Mercury on the other side, which is causing a Shubh Yoga on your seventh house. So this is something which you must cherish. If you are a Libra moon or a Libra ascendant, there is an important yoga that is getting activated in transit for you. It is called Adi Yoga. Adi Yoga means when Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter are in the sixth, seventh, or the eighth houses from ascendant or the moon. It is a yoga for riches. It is the yoga for wealth. In case your dasha antardasha is supportive, you have an opportunity to earn good amount of wealth over the next couple of months. So if there are any important decisions pertaining to business, pertaining to workplace, starting something new, mentally you will be very less bothered about money if you're a Libra moon, because this is a time when you will feel a sense of contentment. You will likely to stay away from many of those material things. Those kind of things will not matter for you because your spiritual quotient will be on a higher side, and this is something which is good for you. But in case you're expecting some finances, this time could help you bring some good amount of wealth and you would be in control of the situation. This is something which you must expect. Your 11th lord sun is conjoined with your 5th lord Saturn for the first half of the month in your 5th house. So any mantras that you use, you need to be consistent with these mantras. I will advise you to chant the mantra related to Venus, who is your Lagna Lord, because this Venus needs to be strengthened. In sixth house, it is Maran Karaka, it is retrograde, so it is a double whammy kind of a situation. So if you were to improve your decision making, chant the Bij mantra of Venus or a simple Lakshmi mantra, that is Om Lakshmi Namah. So you could develop any issues with your subordinates. So make sure that you respect them, make sure that you take utmost care of your subordinates and also relationship with your peers. Sun is going to enter your sixth house around 14th of March. Sun is considered good in the sixth house, so it will of course channelize resources on a day-to-day basis. Saturn's also going to make a big shift from your fifth house to the sixth house, but that is for a separate day. But this is your last opportunity to make a note of some important decisions related to your future and how you will bring a sense of discipline in your life over the next few months. This is your last opportunity, your last chance to pen down important goals for yourself for the mid to long term that you're very serious about. Make the most of these energies and please pen down your goals. And I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Scorpio Ascendant. What's happening with Scorpio Ascendants? Month of March. It's a month of intense conjunction because we'll see Venus, Mercury, Rahu coming together, then Sun joining them, Moon will also join them, Saturn's also going to join them towards the end of the month. So there's going to be a complex planetary conjunction. I'm going to make a separate video, very detailed video on it. But most of the time, Venus, Mercury, and Rahu will be conjoined. Okay, so here I'm going to talk about most important planetary transits for you, what you could expect, what are some of the remedies for you. Let us begin with your Lagna Lord, Lord of the Ascendant, that is Mars or Mangal, that continues to make a transit in your 8th house in a direct motion. Mars is also your 6th Lord. So 6th Lord going into the 8th house is a Viparita Yoga. Circumstances could eventually go adverse, but you will rise. This is the signal of fall and rise and rising for good, transformation for good. See, transformation is always difficult, it is painful, but when it occurs, when it happens, when you embrace it and move on in life, you are a better person, you are a very strong-willed person. So this is definitely going to help improve your decision making and give you a sense of long-term stability. Mars is connected to your second house. So one simple remedy for you could be that you could keep yourself hydrated all through the month. This is something which you must understand and you must look up to the month of March, because if you keep yourself hydrated, you will take better decisions, and it's a very simple remedy for you for Mars. Now, your sixth house, thankfully, is under Shubh Yoga because there is Venus and Mercury on one side, and then there is Jupiter on the other side. So this is causing a Shubh Yoga on your sixth house. So your daily routine is being protected. If you have any enmity, if you have opposition, you could be benefited around this time because you will overcome these opposite energies. Most importantly, if you have any debts to repay, this could be your opportunity to repay these debts, or there will be some karma related to debts. This is something which you must fulfill within the month of March and April. You must watch out for it. Now let's understand your fifth lord, Jupiter, who is also your second lord. Therefore, Jupiter plays a very important role for all wealth related matters. Now, this Jupiter continues to make a transit in your seventh house. So, your second lord and fifth lord making a transit in the seventh house is definitely a yoga in transit. But this is very favorable for your partner. So, your partner or spouse can have a rise in income. See, first half of the month, you have some important planets in your Kendra houses. So, you've got a Saturn, okay, and then you got a Sun, and then you got a Jupiter as well. So first half of the month, you've got three planets in your Kendra houses which are supporting your decision making, because Sun is your 10th lord that is making a transit in the fourth house. It is a little bit weak in the fourth house because it's losing direction. So you have to fix your workplace environment, workplace routine, and of course step out of your comfort zone, because Sun and Saturn conjunction could bring some authority issues at workplace, but it is helping you to step out of your comfort zone and do those things that could make you look like a successful person or look like a knowledgeable person and the person who brings a sense of leadership and discipline at workplace. This is something which you have to be mindful of. Jupiter is also not considered very strong in the seventh house because it is opposite to the first house. So your Sun and Jupiter somehow in the first half are a little bit struggling with regards to their disposition. So again, Jupiter needs a sense of direction. So make sure that you pick up something from a learning point of view. Thankfully, this Jupiter is involved in a parivartana or exchange with Venus. So this Jupiter acts as if it's Venus in the seventh house. So momentarily, it is supporting your relationship because you might have had issues with regards to relationship in the past. Now is the time to move forward. Now is the time to look forward. Your fifth house has intense conjunction of Venus, Mercury, and Rahu. Venus is exalted and retrograde, so this Venus is acting as if it's debilitated. Mercury is debilitated and later it will go retrograde. So this Mercury will act as if it's exalted and they will be conjoined with Sun, who is your 10th Lord, on 14th of March. So second half of the month, I do expect things to get better for you in terms of your future planning, in terms of work related progress. So anything that is being getting delayed or that has had an impact, and maybe if you've heard of bad news, things are going to drastically improve in the second half of the month. So you have to be very patient with these energies and make the most of this time to plan for your future because your 511 axis is pretty active. So make sure that you spend enough time to pen down your goals, things that you were to achieve over the next few weeks, and make the most of these energies. And I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Sagittarius ascendant and what's happening with Sagittarius ascendants. Month of March, which is an intense, complex month. It has got some of the most complex conjunctions, some intense conjunctions. Venus, Mercury, Rahu are coming together and going to be staying together throughout the month. Both Venus and Mercury are going to go retrograde as well. So it is bringing a lot of karma. Let's begin with your Lagna Lord, Jupiter, who's the Lord of your ascendant, making a last leg of transit in your sixth house in the sign of Taurus. Your ascendant lord is involved with Venus in a Parivartan Yoga. Momentarily, this is bringing relationship karma, but this is helping you to build your intelligence. You need to bring a sense of decluttering in your house, in your home. Your partner or spouse or someone that you are in a relationship could go out of the way to help you, to support you. Okay. But you have to respect, you have to have a sense of judgment, and you have to listen to your partner because Jupiter is in your sixth house, Mars is in your seventh house. So Mars attains Maran Karka position, but in such cases, partner goes out of the way. So you could feel a sense of energy imbalance when it comes to relationship. Stay low key and of course have plenty of patience. The key is in listening and building well established, credible relationship. Focus on learning because this is a huge opportunity for you to build your intelligence by the virtue of this parivartan of Venus and Mercury that you have to make the most of in the month of March. So it is the month of learning for you. You have a complex conjunction of three planets initially: Venus, exalted and retrograde, in your fourth house, Mercury, which is debilitated, and later it will go retrograde, and Rahu. So, this is really stepping you out of your comfort zone. So, definitely there is some karma. It's an excellent time for you to declutter your house. So, the remedy for you for the month of March is declutter. Clean up your house, get rid of old stuff, donate, make donations. See, Mercury, when it transits to your fourth house, you must donate your household things because Mercury signifies greed, and the only way to overcome greed is by giving, by donating, right? Of course, if you are hungry for earning more wealth, it will increase the greed and you will not be able to channelize these energies. So make sure that you donate. From a spiritual point of view, it is excellent. Practice yoga, practice sadhana, and make the most of these intense energies. Your ninth lord sun, which is again an important planet for you because it's your Bhagyesha, is making a transit in your third house along with the third lord Saturn for the first half of the month. So this will ensure that any efforts that you put, you will see results. Your hard work will pay off. Do not shy away from putting efforts. You would have had a guru upadesha or a blessing or message or some guidance from your mentor or a teacher or even father. If not, please look up to them. First half of the month is very conducive for putting genuine efforts. You would likely see the outcome or the results. Later, Sun will enter your fourth house where it is losing direction because Sun gains direction in the 10th house, so it is losing direction. So you have to put little bit efforts in terms of ensuring that your fortune is being supportive. So this is a time when you will not rely on fortune, but you will take things in your own hands. You will be very conscious about your mindfulness, your spiritual practice, and step out of this comfort zone to take good corrective decisions which are pertaining to the environment that you have at your workplace, and things related to home. If you work from home, make sure that your desk is clean, make sure that you keep it decluttered, and of course, declutter your house as well. Your ninth lord, Mars, Mars is also your 12th lord, is making a transit in the seventh house of partnership, marriage, relationship, those people who are opposite to you. So you will build some very good relationship with foreigners, people from other countries, people from other nationalities, or if you have an opportunity to settle in or move outside of your home country, this could be a potentially favorable time for you. This could trigger, this could activate and help you settle outside in case you've been looking for it. If there's any paperwork related to any of these matters, it is likely to move ahead. Use mantras related to Mars, either a simple Narsimha mantra or worship Lord Hanuman. Look up to him and you will be protected. And I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Capricorn Ascendant. What's happening with Capricorn Ascendants as far as the month of March is here. March is a complex month. We have some very intense conjunctions, particularly the conjunction of Venus, Mercury, and Rahu that I have mentioned in a brief manner, in a very clear, concise manner in the beginning of the video, and how to overcome this conjunction and what is that you have to ensure. Let us begin with your Lagna Lord, Lord of the Ascendant, that is making a last transit in your second house in the sign of Aquarius in its Mool Trikon sign, and it will be conjoined with Sun. So, for momentarily 2 weeks, you have to be very careful of your speech. You have to, because there's firepower, so there could be a sense of ego and authority in your speech. This could be detrimental towards the relationship with other people. So, if you stay grounded, if you stay humble, if you practice humility, it is going to be good for you. You could have some change in your dietary requirement. Make sure that you keep yourself hydrated. So, this is a simple remedy for you to have enough water in the day so you can keep yourself hydrated. This is a simple tip or a remedy. This is the last opportunity for you to bring in a sense of discipline in family matters and also matters pertaining to your finances. So you'd likely to take some important decision pertaining to your finances over the next couple of months that could give you some long-term benefit. As a matter of fact, that you could maybe use some of these decisions related to saving, make some investments for the long term, and this could give you some benefit in the long run. Your ninth lord, Mercury, has entered your third house and it is in a debilitated state. So when Bhagyesha is debilitated, first half could be challenging because you would put more efforts, you will not get results. Mercury will soon go retrograde, mid of March. This is where Mercury will act as if it's exalted. It's in the sign of Virgo and it is going to be aspecting your ninth house. It will have very strong sense of desire on your ninth house. This coincides with the aspect of Venus, who's your fifth lord, and the 10th lord, a Yoga Karaka Graha for you. Venus is exalted and retrograde in your third house. So, this Venus will act as if it's debilitated throughout this month. However, it will have a very strong aspect on your ninth house. Both Venus and Mercury are aspecting your ninth house. So, it wants you to stick to your dharma. Be the messenger of your dharma. Your communication will be very good. You will be focused on starting new ventures, new projects, new assignments because 3 and 9 axis indicates start of a journey. It doesn't necessarily mean that you will travel. You could go on a spiritual journey, you could go on a retreat, you could travel long distance, you could go on mountains or around water bodies. So these are the two places where you're likely to visit. Somewhere which is green, serene, and of course beautiful. So you will focus a lot of building mindfulness. So do meditation, go out there, connect with the nature. Even if you don't get opportunities to travel, make sure that you spend time in nature. This will be a very good remedy for you. This will ensure that any efforts that you put, you're likely to see results. Otherwise, your efforts will be like irrelevant expenditure. You're putting efforts, you're not getting results. Okay. Stay away from any indulgence because when Venus, Mercury, and Rahu are in your third house, it could make you involved in indulgence of all kinds. So this is something which you have to be careful and mindful of, particularly in the second half when Sun also joins, who's your eighth lord. So this is where you have to channelize these energies and take control of your habits, make connection with good people, and apply and embrace good habits. See, remember, Jupiter in your fifth house continues to aspect your ascendant, so it is somehow protecting you. It has a protective force, okay? And any mantras that you use this month are going to be particularly helpful since Venus and Jupiter are involved in Parivartan. Either use a Bij mantra of Venus or a simple Lakshmi mantra, which is Om Lakshmi Nama, or read Shri Suktam on a daily basis to channelize these energies and for your protection and also for prosperity. If you were to attract prosperity in your life, you have to follow the path of Venus and Jupiter here. And this is the kind of energies which you have to channelize in the month of March. And I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Aquarius ascendant and what's happening with Aquarius in the month of March 2025. I'm going to talk about important planetary transits, some shifts that are happening, major events, and of course some complex planetary conjunctions, some very intense conjunction. Of course, in the beginning of the video, I mentioned about Venus, Mercury, and Rahu coming together and how it could have an impact on our relationship, communication, and our sense of judgment and our own self-worth. And it's worth listening for you. Let us begin with your Lagna Lord Saturn that is making the final transit in your ascendant towards the end of the month. It will enter Pisces. So Saturn is beginning to gain that momentum. It will start delivering results in Pisces after the next 3 months because it takes some time. Shane, it goes slow. It takes its own course. It will only give you those results when it wants you to give. But this is the last opportunity to maintain a sense of discipline in your life and be very organized of the things. And of course, the same goes for your partner because your seventh lord is conjoined Saturn in your first house. Sun is a significator of the first house, so it's in a pretty good dignity. So it's good for yourself and your spouse. So if you have any decisions that you were to take together, the first half of the month is quite conducive. You must remember that you have Saturn, Sun, and Jupiter making a transit in your Kendra houses. Three very important planets: Sun, the natural fifth house lord, Saturn and Jupiter, the natural ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th houses lord, the one who rules important Purusharthas. So, this is a time when you have to make some important decisions in the first half of the month where you are involved, your spouse is involved, and this could be decisions pertaining to your home, pertaining to your own overall well-being and a sense of balance in your life. So this is something which you must identify, and that is a good time period for you. Of course, I'll make a detailed video on Saturn and what's happening, but this is your last opportunity. Venus, who is your fourth lord and the ninth lord, Yoga Karaka Graha for you, has been going in the sign of Pisces in your second house. It's forming a Dan Yoga, it is exalted, however, it will go retrograde. This makes Venus act as if it's debilitated. However, this Venus will have a strong aspect, which is the seventh aspect on your eighth house, on this Ketu that is sitting here. So, Venus loves transformation, deep transformation, something which it expects. So, it will likely you to go on probably start study research related subjects, go deep in some of the sciences, occult, mysticism, astrology. Mercury is also joining Venus in your second house. Mercury is your fifth lord, and this Mercury will also go retrograde. So, this is again a time when it is aspecting your eighth house, very deeply aspecting your eighth house. So, they both have a high sense of desire here. So this is an intense time period because both of them have a strong aspect of desire on your eighth house. They want you to embrace transformation and be prepared for suddenness. Any sudden changes, sudden shifts, you have to do financial management. You have to fix your eating habits. Avoid indulgence in food, otherwise, it could be detrimental towards your health. You could have minor issues with your stomach. So, be careful of your diet because you would want to experiment with different kinds of food. So, you might feel under the weather if you go beyond what is expected. Sun will also join them on 14th of March, and there is Rahu, which is already there. So, this makes a point that you have to avoid any kind of indulgence. This period could be good for your spouse from a financial point of view. Over the next couple of months, there could be a rise in finances, or they could get a financial benefit. So, this is something which you must understand. See, this is a complex conjunction that is happening in your second house. Now, thankfully, your third house is under Shubh Yoga, because there is Jupiter on one side, then you have Venus and Mercury on the other side. So there is Shubh Yoga on your third house, which means any effort that you take around this time, you will see results of these efforts because your third house is being protected. It is protecting your communication, it is protecting your change. So any change that you encounter or you bring in, you're likely to succeed. So please do not shy away from efforts, put in efforts. You're going to be change ready and you're going to embrace this change with flying colors. This is something which you must be mindful of. Jupiter continues to make a transit in your fourth house. Mars continues to make a transit in your fifth house. So there's a lot of firepower energy in the fifth house of children. So there could be some conflict related to children, some issues. But from a future point of view, there's a lot of energy. So do future planning. This time period is activating a couple of important financial yogas or dhan yogas for you. And this is the time for you to make the most by the virtue of your decision making. So, first half of the month, please remember important decisions. Worship Lord Hanuman. He is the one who will protect you because your fifth house there is Mars that is making a transit, and this Mars is aspecting your 11th house and the 12th house by its 7th and the 8th aspect, and the Mars is also aspecting your 8th house. So, 8th house, 11th, and 12th house are being aspected. Worship Lord Hanuman to help you sail through this time, and this is quite important for you, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Pisces ascendant. What's happening with Pisces month of March, which is going to experience some very complex conjunctions, some very intense conjunctions. As I have mentioned in the beginning, Venus, Mercury, Rahu are coming together. Both Venus and Mercury are going to go retrograde. So it's an intense time when it comes to relationship, our interaction with other people, our communication, and channelizing our sense of desires and avoiding any kind of illusion that we are living with. So, firstly, your ascendant is going to have this complex conjunction. So, firstly, you have to be very careful of your self image. So, you could lose out on your confidence because somehow you'll not be sure about what's happening. Mercury is your seventh lord, also rules obstacles for you. It is going debilitated in your first house. Later, it will go retrograde. The first half of the month, you will have issues with your self image. So, this is something which you have to be mindful of. Venus, which is exalted, is going retrograde. So, this Venus acts as if it is debilitated. Now, thankfully, Jupiter, who's your ascendant lord, and Venus are involved in a Parivartana Yoga. So, they have exchanged places. So this Venus will behave as if it's Jupiter sitting in your ascendant. However, you need to use a strong sense of wisdom. You need to consult your partner, your spouse, or someone who you trust with. They're going to play a very important role for you. You definitely have a karma towards relationships, so make sure that your decisions are driven by logic and by compassion. So this is the message of Mercury and Venus that are sitting in your ascendant. So Mercury is good in the ascendant because it gains directional strength. However, this Mercury is debilitated. So first half could be a little bit challenging. Second half is much better for you because this is when Mercury will act as if it's exalted and sitting in your ascendant. So, to counter these energies, you must worship Ganesha. You must chant mantras related to Ganpati, or you must look up to him to help you overcome any obstacles because you are likely to attract obstacles throughout the month of March. So, this is something which you have to be mindful of. Thankfully, your ascendant Lord Jupiter is making a transit in your third house. So, efforts that you put, you're likely to see results. However, Jupiter goes Maran Karak or it's a death like position in the third house. You are likely to not use your sense of knowledge and wisdom. So, this is something which you have to be conscious about. You still need to stick to it, you still need to ensure that you learn. Take advice of someone senior, your guru or a mentor or someone who you look up to. This could be quite good for you. This could be quite beneficial for you. And these are the people that you have to look up to help you make some good decisions and those who can give you the right kind of advice. This will be a person with a sense of judgment. You must remember that, see, Sun is making a transit in a Kendra or quadrant house. There is Rahu, there is Mars, and then there is Ketu. There are four natural malefics in your quadrant houses which are causing a Sarpa Yoga, which is like a coil. So it's restricting you. of course, not helping you in make important decisions. So you are under certain illusion. So take it easy. Focus a lot on spiritual pursuits because Sun and Saturn's conjunction in the 12th house is supporting your spiritual pursuits. Sun is your 6th lord, Saturn is your 12th lord. So you have a double Viparita yoga in your 12th house. Absolutely, you will rise from this situation will go adverse. You have to practice spiritual sadhana, you have to do meditation, yoga. So from a spiritual point of view, this is an excellent month for you and also for your partner, but some of the decisions you have to be careful of. Mars, thankfully, who's your second lord and the ninth lord, is making a transit in your fourth house. Mars is considered to be one of the karaka or significator of the fourth house because it's bhumi karak. So if there are any decisions pertaining to real estate, particularly related to land, this could be in your favor. This could give you some benefits. This could give you a sense of income related to your assets or real estate, or you might want to venture because this is your last opportunity when Mars is making a direct motion in the sign of Gemini in your fourth house. Later, Mars will go in the fifth house. It will again go debilitated and make this transit. So, any decisions pertaining to your house, you can do this. Renovation, make sure that you put your energies in decluttering your house. This is a simple remedy for you. You must channelize your energies here and you must make efforts to declutter your house. This will support the flow of finances. This will support the flow of income. So this is a sure shot remedy for you in the month of March. And any auspicious work that you go for, have a little sweet, even if it's a candy or something sweet. Okay, this is going to increase your chances to be successful in case you have sugar related issues. So please avoid, right? Otherwise, you can have something sweet before any important work to increase your chances of success. And I wish you the very best. So, friends, this was the monthly transit report for the month of March. I hope and believe this video was helpful for you. I will come back with more astrology transit videos for your benefit and keep the concepts very, very simple. Thank you very much. God bless you all.